Emily, you're a former lawyer. There are links between all of this. What you're watching is the big courts, the big regulatory bodies, both with Google and Meta and Boeing with their toilets. They're getting heavy. They're
covering
dealing
all
with
the big issues.
I just thought I'd throw the toilets one in there because nobody picked it up last time, and I actually,
it's a very important story.
Yeah, so
it is very much.
Yeah.
I think the Meta and the Google trials have been going on at the same court building at the same time. So I've been
Let's
reading.
just deal with the Meta antitrust trial, which is beginning. The Federal Trade Commissioner has commenced an antitrust trial against Meta, basically saying that they've illegally monopolised the social networking platform by acquiring competitors Instagram and WhatsApp, and they argue that it was a part of a sort of buy or bury strategy to just kill the competition. Obviously, what we're seeing now is you've got these tech giants that are almost changing the political landscape, and the regulators a few years later are sort of saying, hold on, let's break all of this up. Katie, do you use WhatsApp or Instagram?
Yeah, WhatsApp runs my life. I mean, it runs the company.
Yes, I mean, our own company runs it, and it works pretty well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I like that you can have all the different groups and kind of silo everything out.
And do you use Facebook, Katie?
Only if I want to check what my mum's been up to.
This is annoying. This is like, thank you. The Hammond organ is out with the old stuff for the old people.
Yeah, so I've got some questions really for you, Katie. But can you think back as far as 2012? Were you on social media at that time?
So I think the age that you should be joining social media is around 13. So it was like just the borderline. It was kind of when it was all getting popular anyway. But I definitely remember that kind of age.
Yeah, and I think in that age, I don't know if you'd agree, Lucy and Nathan, Facebook was really the social media platform.
That was where you would go.
And this is the
to
kind
share cats, dogs, your garden, talk to old school friends. There was that sort of friends reunited or something. I can't even remember what it was called, but it sort of eclipsed that, didn't it?
Everyone would ask, "Oh, can we be friends on Facebook?" But I remember there was, some quite. Looking back at it now, there was some quite interesting functionality of Facebook that probably wouldn't. Well, it's probably gone now, but you could check into places and tell everyone, I am here right now. I'm no longer at my house. So
it's kind of crazy.
So, but where are we now? Because I think clearly Facebook has diluted. It's become. I think of it as where I go if I want to find out what old friends are doing. It's clearly not the winner anymore. So Emily, who is the Federal Trade Commissioner, and why do they think that given that you've got this demise of Facebook and they've moved into other areas like WhatsApp and Instagram, why are they dominant? Is that three, or is that actually them being smart and replacing the fading old ones with new ones?
Well, this is actually the core question. So backing up, who is the Federal Trade Commission in the United States? They are the people who look after antitrust, which is the US version of what we would call in Europe competition law.
So if you're a big company,
you're to protect consumers against the monopolies and the excesses of monopolies.
Does it matter?
It matters a lot, because actually part of the definition of a monopoly is a company that is able to operate completely independently of market and competition forces. So in European terms, which is a regime I'm much more familiar with, it's about being in a dominant position. It's where you can act independently of the market. And it's not as easy a threshold as you would think to show that Meta has a monopoly, because there's the situation in 2012 when we just had a little go back in time between us, where Facebook really was the social network. But there's the situation now. Where are you evaluating it? And one of the key arguments that Meta is actually applying is, look at TikTok. look at how rapidly it's grown, how it really has posed a very competitive threat to us. So we're not a monopoly.
Yes, just to be clear, they are vigorously defending themselves against the Federal Trade Commission.
They absolutely
and they're arguing that TikTok and YouTube, and we'll come on to Google in a minute, and basically they're saying that you're just punishing a successful company.
So my feeling is I really don't know which way this verdict is going to go, but it's a very interesting set of issues, because if we think about, like, if we thought even amongst ourselves, what are the character of different social media platforms that we use in our business or personal life? You know, what would you post on TikTok? Would you post the same material on LinkedIn? Would you expect the same audience on YouTube? Would you expect the same audience on Facebook? So actually Facebook's case, to the extent I understand it, is like these are all direct competitors to one another. They pose competitive threats to us. We need to react. And the Federal Trade Commission's case would be like, no, you have a monopoly in social media. So I think this is going to be a very, very interesting trial to watch.
Yeah, I've got one more question for Nathan, but before that, guys, I do want to remind everyone to please, if you like this, please follow and share, or subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts as well, because we need you, and the buttons are just on the screen now. Sorry for forgetting that, guys, just got so excited in this argument. But anyway, Nathan, you know, we are the primary goal is to secure a court order that would make Meta actually have to sell WhatsApp and Instagram to other providers. I mean, I know, because we swap messages, text sort of messages. Yeah. We're using WhatsApp every 5 minutes. Yeah. Where could this lead us?
I think it's a really interesting, problem. I think, there's a lot of different ways it could go. I think going back to Emily's point, I feel like there's so much competition out there that it would be hard to kind of say that one's got a win over the other, because you've got your likes of Snapchat and your TikToks and your your other kind of messaging platforms. You've got iMessage on that kind of takes away some of the WhatsApp things. So I think it's really interesting, and I don't know how it's going to go, but
thank you very much. So Emily, did you have a last point you wanted to make there?
I think there's the legal issues, and then there's, frankly, the theatre of the whole thing. It's very exciting that Mark Zuckerberg is giving evidence in person, but also there's the kind of the drama of the founder of Instagram, who's been giving testimony this week, Kevin Systrom, who is alleging, look, we reached 1 billion users at Instagram with 100 staff versus Facebook's 35,000. And so this is the buy or bury argument that you started with, Lucian. So the testimony from the Instagram founder is like, we got acquired by Facebook. Facebook starved us of resources. Facebook vigorously rejects that argument, says actually we made Instagram. We took it from a couple of 2 or 3 users. It was doing very well, but it's now went over. Hyperbole went over 1 billion users. So it was probably using a lot of those resources. So there's a real kind of courtroom drama, and those personalities who are so intriguing. This sort of opening up of a very closed world.
Yeah. So I want to go. These are super giant companies. They affect every 5 minutes of our lives, which is why I want to go from a court case that's launched and just started into one that's complete, at least in its first round, and to talk about Google. Before I do that, because this is all super exciting, it's time for our Guilty Pleasure Online.